Impact segment tonight, as we mentioned, there are Americans who want out of Afghanistan, even though there's no question the terrorists would move in. Joining us now from Washington, Medea Benjamin, leader of Code Pink, committed anti-war group. And Ms. Benjamin is just back from Afghanistan. So just define for everybody your exact position on the war over there.
We don't think sending 40,000 more troops is the answer. We think there is no military solution. And in fact, we think the presence of U.S. troops is the best recruiting tool that the Taliban has. We were told about 30% of people who joined the Taliban joined because they've been harmed by foreign forces, and the other 70% joined because they're poor. So I think we'd be a lot better off saving the lives of our soldiers and the money of our tax dollars if we provided financial incentives for people not to join the Taliban, and we have an exit strategy and let the Afghan military and the Afghan police be trained by the UN and promote peace talks.
All right. Now, let me just run them down for you. So Medea Benjamin feels that you know more about winning a war than General McChrystal. I don't know, Medea, if that's going to fly. See, McChrystal thinks he can win, and he's the expert general, and you're a civilian, but you say you know more than him.
Well, I'm absolutely certain that more troops is not the answer. If
okay, but he's certain that more troops is the answer. So I'm saying, why should I take you, with all due respect, your expertise over McChrystal's expertise? I mean, come on.
Well, I think there's plenty of generals during the Vietnam days that said that more and more troops were the answer.
That's
and look where that led us.
The second question is, you were against the surge in Iraq. We had you on, and you were wrong. The surge worked, militarily speaking. So now your credibility is kind of shaky, no?
No, I think what worked in Iraq is that we decided on a timetable for withdrawal.
No, what worked in Iraq was we sent more troops in, and they killed the bad guys, stabilized it, gave the people security so that we could pull them out. That's what worked in Iraq,
I don't
and you
think that's what worked in Iraq.
What
worked in Iraq is that we brought in the people who were fighting us and actually worked with them.
Yeah, because we gave them security, because we had more troops to protect them, which is what McChrystal wants to do in Afghanistan, protect people so that they do cooperate with us. Okay, third question. Your group is interesting because I think you're a sincere group. But if the Taliban comes back, they're going to brutalize women probably to the worst extent that we've ever seen in this world. Does that enter into your thinking at all?
Well, it certainly does, which is why I put my life on the line to go to Afghanistan and talk to as many women as we could talk to. And for your listeners who are interested, we'll be putting a lot of those videotapes up on our website, Code Pink Alert. And a lot of the people we talked to said that they don't want the Taliban to come back into power, but that the majority of the Taliban were humble villagers, that if we provide alternatives for them, they will go back to their villages.
Maybe they will and maybe they won't, but there's an awful lot of corruption in Afghanistan to try to buy people off. But here, look, if I'm concerned about the women of Afghanistan, and I believe you are, and so am I say 40,000 more American troops is going to provide those women with more security in the short term while we train the Afghan police and army, which I don't know is ever going to work. It's a society that's fairly chaotic, so I'm not sure it will. But the 40,000 provide security from the Taliban. So I would think you would want to provide that security, Medea.
Well, so many of the women we talked to gave us horror stories about how with the foreign forces there, with the bombs that indiscriminately are killing civilians, that this is creating chaos in the villages, that they feel extremely insecure when there are U.S. forces in the village.
So are you telling me they would rather have the Taliban waltzing in there than the Americans? All the polls in Afghanistan say that's not true. They would much rather have the foreign people protecting them from. This is polling done in Afghanistan.
Well, no, there's plenty of polls that you can look at that say that they don't want the foreign forces. Afghans are a proud people.
They
don't want
Nobody wants to be occupied.
Country.
But on a day-to-day basis, I think that they would
want
the NATO forces there to protect them. See, look, the mistake I'm going to give you the last word. The mistake that you make always is that you're well-intentioned, but your grasp on reality sometime, well, we'll give them money not to be Taliban. Okay, they'll take the money and then they'll be Taliban, because if they're not the Taliban, they'll slit their throat. See, I don't think you understand how brutal it is. I'll give you the last word.